SebDB is the world's most comprehensive security behaviors database.
It's a little known resource, but I can't wait for the day when it is this thing that everybody knows about in the industry because it is so useful.
Literally catalogues every single security behavior that is known to affect human cyber risk.
And SebDB essentially maps security behaviors to risk outcomes.
It's the world's most comprehensive
security behaviors database.
There we go, whatever that is.
Yeah, it's a collection of security behaviors, and it exists because
Security professionals are faced with an extremely difficult challenge of changing the security behavior of their employees.
I know that my risk in my organization is account compromise. What are all the associated security behaviors that I need to perhaps address or approach to help reduce that risk?
The overall goal is to actually save time, not spend areas where you know your business is covered, you have great behaviors, and instead laser in and focus on where the gaps exist and what you can do to reduce risk.
At CybSafe, we realized that if we were going to build a model of behavior change interventions, or a model that delivered behavior change interventions and was going to do so in a way that reduced cyber risk, we needed to be really specific about the security behaviors that we wanted to impact. And so we had to catalog those security behaviors. We couldn't do it on our own. We had to work with the security community.
I might go and speak to the threat intelligence team. I might go and speak to the security operations center and say, okay, from what you've seen over the last 6 months to a year, what are the biggest threats to our business? And they might come back and say, okay, it's account compromise. I can now go to SebDB.
And you know immediately what behaviors you need to target.
And which are the ones that in the future I also want to measure. We've said it many times before, and we say it in a lot of our webinars. If you're not keeping score, you're just practicing. I got it!
If you think about it, if you're a security professional who's trying to address human risk, then yes, you can train your people, but it doesn't matter if they don't change their behaviors.
Now, SebDB aims to almost kind of turn that on its head completely and say, well, actually, what you really should be doing and what you really should be caring about is what risk are you interested in, what security behaviors are you interested in, and then making decisions based on that.
And so the security behavior database helps them by literally saying, if this is the risk outcome that you're interested in impacting, these are the behaviors that affect these risk outcomes, and here are the interventions that will be most effective for those behaviors.
So knowing how behaviors affect risk allows us to make decisions based on evidence instead of guesswork.
Yeah, guessing's pretty irresponsible.
That's why we're different.
So SebDB really in itself is more than a database. It really is a community.
The SebDB community, you can tell by the grin on my face, is a collection of security behavior aficionados who are just incredibly passionate about this entire industry, moving it forward, sharing knowledge, sharing job opportunities, just getting involved and getting stuck in, because we are all still shaping how this industry looks and how it will look in the future.
Cybersecurity challenges will only be solved collectively. This database is built by the community for the community.
And it's free to join, and anybody can sign up, and they not only get access to the thinking, they get access to the community, but they also get access to the alerts and the notifications as things are updated. They're the first to know.
SebDB is backed up by science through collaboration with academia, industry and the government.
The scientific community is very much a part of the SebDB community, and by that I mean there are researchers across the globe in a variety of academic institutions and organisations who are looking into and working on the problem, the challenges that relate to security behaviours.
Everyone that's interested in really changing the game as it relates to security awareness and human cyber risk.
Some of the principles behind SebDB are that the behavior must be something that positively influences and reduces risk in an organization.
And we use 8 behavioral buckets. They range from account compromise to personal exposure to malware infection, just to name a few.
There are so many other things that we've done. We've categorized these in a way that mean that actually it's relevant and important for security practitioners, but also those people conducting research.
So the journey was interesting. We started off essentially by realizing we had this behavior measurement. We weren't even necessarily calling them behaviors.
But we very quickly realized that actually we needed to almost start the other way at the other end and think about the risk outcomes first. What were the most common risk outcomes that most security professionals were looking to address? And they were things like malware infection and data leakage and privacy violation or physical damage.
And recognizing that these were actually behaviors, we then set about the desire to classify all of the behaviors. And so really it came down to putting that together in a single list. People are very interested in what other people are measuring too, and what they might be better advantaged by looping in and bringing as part of their program.
How did SebDB start, Jonathan? Seriously, how did it start?
SebDB started when we realized our customers want to measure so much more than just passphrases and phishing behaviors.
But we realized very quickly we couldn't do that by ourselves, and we opened it up to the research community, and we opened it up to other security practitioners.
It also relied on guidance from NCSC, ISOs and SANS, plus other security communities.
So it's not about a commercial support, it was literally about building an open source solution that would benefit everybody.
So SebDB can help from a reporting element by giving you a breakdown of the exact security behaviours that you should be addressing.
So that when they report internally about the progress that they're making, about the risk that they're reducing, rather than just talk in general terms, this number of people have completed their training, they can be specific. Well done.
So when we first started this, we had about 70 plus behaviors, and now we are closer to 150 behaviors. As the threat landscape expands, our SebDB grows with it.
It's hard to say what the future of SebDB will be because it doesn't belong to us. It belongs to the whole security community, and there's so many people that feed into it.
I think the reality is that the world is constantly changing, right? And we have to be mindful of that. For me, I can see additional security behaviors as they come up, when they come up. I think it's really important to always be adaptive, to always be sort of inclusive of these.
Adopting security behaviors and measuring them is a new field, and a lot of organizations are looking for help on how to get that going. So making sure that SebDB remains approachable and usable is definitely one of our focuses.
There are so many exciting enhancements to SebDB, but also the SebDB community. The most notable being SebDB Slack, just a resource hub that has everybody contributing to it.
There is no doubt that because it's open source, because it is constantly evolving, and because the threat and the landscape is always constantly evolving, SebDB will be a tool that will be relevant and fit for purpose whatever happens out there, because it will just continue to evolve.
If you're slightly skeptical, you don't know about joining SebDB, it's free, it's open source. What have you got to lose?
So SebDB was established as a community, and it will continue to thrive and evolve as a community. So for me, I think it's a no-brainer. Why not get SebDB?
I found a Pringle in my pocket.